I was hurting really bad, like really bad. You're like, that was good. I got the reset. And we left the outshoot, and dude, you started pulling away from me. And I'm like, I'm panicking. For anyone listening that's done a Hyrox, that's kind of familiar with these numbers, you know, we were running 440 to like 5 minutes was only one run. It was our slowest. We were more like 440, 450.
It was an extra long course, so just for clarity.
But these top guys, they were saying run like 330s, and that's a 541 mile pace. So that's what they're keeping for that whole race, including the station. So that's freaking quick, man. That's impressive.
So we got 107, and I just don't see how you shave 10 minutes off that other than just running hella fast.
So in the mixed doubles times, from my understanding on, you know, watching a couple of videos, reading some stuff, because of course now I've gone down a deep Hyrox rabbit hole, and we can talk about that in a little bit. The mixed doubles tend to be fast times because you do it with the pro women's weights. So the men are usually fit men that can then, like, imagine if that sled were the lighter version of the sled.
Yeah,
you could just
go really
have the guy. So if you have a female in the mixed doubles that's a really good runner, which Christy Ramos, who he partnered up with, is a really good runner, dude. She runs, like I saw on her Instagram, she runs a 30. It was like a low 6 minute per mile pace for a 10K, like super fast. She's like a legit runner. And then you have a guy that's a good runner and pretty strong. You could do a really good time because the guy is going to be using some pretty light weights, and, you know, your female partner can, you know, just run really fast, which is going to be the limiting factor. So yeah, shout out to them. I mean, that was awesome. 107, I thought was super respectable for us, especially given where we were at with a run pace. And if you look at the placings at our stations,
I told you I wanted to go sub 60, right? It just like sounded good. So I'm looking at my
7
clock.
minutes off.
So I watched the watch as we go, and I'm like, you know, we're like halfway done. I look at my watch. I'm like, we get like 3/4 of the way down. I'm like, I'm like, oh, bro, that is fast. Like, I thought we were cooking. And when we got to like station 6 or 7, I'm like, there's no way we're going sub 1 hour. And, it just really puts in perspective the levels of the game, you know?
Oh, for sure, man. But what I was going to say is we did, like, there was this one duo that we kept seeing on the course, right?
with the chain, with the shirt off and the chain, right?
It was driving me nuts because they would pass us on every run, because on the stations, we would pass them. Like, we would do so well on the stations, but on the run, they would just pass us every time. But I think we ended up finishing in front of them because of the wall balls.
Yeah, we made moves on the stations for sure. As a team, we made moves.
Dude, the funny part too, just remembering the race is I had a scare on the burpees, man. I thought I fucked up, because I was like, all right, you know, like the runs, a little bit easier for me, a little tougher for you. So I'm going to take some chances on the stations. And that worked out great on the ski erg, which was station 1. I wasn't able to actually do that on the sled. I didn't quote unquote take a chance. You actually had to do more work than I did on the sleds because you can move it really well. So then station 4 comes and it's burpees. So you think about it, like in my head, I'm like, shit, like our plan was that I was going to, like, you know, like really help out on the stations because I'm recovering on the run. I haven't done that so far. Like there's that kind of like team member guilt.
And we're already 3K. We're already 3K in at this point.
Right. We're 3K in.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good because I didn't do too much of the sled. You know, running your pace on the run. So I'm like, dude, I'm good. Like, I'm going to help us out on the burpees. Like, you rest a little bit on the burpees. I'm going to help us out. And dude, we got to the burpees and I like let it rip. Dude.
It's a burpee broad jump for how far was it? 80 yards?
80
meters. But dude, for people listening, I thought like, oh, a burpee broad jump, 80 meters, not a big deal.
It's
because
it's the longest 80 meters ever.
It's because you're not allowed to put your hands in front of like where you land. So like when you land, your hands have to go where your feet are. So you can't like reach out and like, if that makes sense, you can't like cheat the burpee, like where you land, your feet, your hands. So you basically like are starting and finishing however far you jump is basically it.
That's right. Which makes sense. But honestly, like when the guy explained the rule to us, it made it a lot harder than any burpee broad jump I've practiced. And I haven't practiced a lot, but like, I guarantee you, if you're not familiar with this rule and right now I were to tell you like burpee broad jump 10 meters, you would not follow the rule that we're saying because it's almost weird. It's weird.
It's almost it's non-intuitive because instead of reaching down into a push-up position, you have to reach down and then kick your feet back almost like you're getting into a plank.
Right. It's like if you were to do a quote unquote strict burpee. It's almost like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a strict push-up, but that's kind of what they expect from you with the hand positioning. So dude, we get to the burpee station and I'm like, I got to make up for what I didn't do on the sled. So I go so hard. I do I think entire first length. Then you did a little bit of the second length.
Yeah, I think I did 7 burpees.
Yeah, and then I finished out the length. And dude, we start jogging out of that burpee station and I was hurting really bad. Like really bad. And there was a point where we left. You're like, that was good. I got the reset. And we left the outshoot. And dude, you started pulling away from me. And I'm hauling. I'm like, my heart rate is probably like 185. And I'm like, I'm panicking. And you start pulling away. And the last thing I wanted to do is be like, like, Jay, wait up or whatever. Cause I was like, dude, that's bad news. If I'm the one asking us to slow down on the run, like that's fucked up. Luckily, by the time we got to the corner, I had recovered at least enough to keep up with you. And then a lap into it, I was back in like a good place. But that was the one moment in the race where I was like, dude, I think I went too hard and the wheels came off. But we were able to recover. And then what was 5 after that? And then 5 after that was the row, which was our best station. Interestingly.
Yeah, we smashed the row. But that's a testament. If you look at the podcast show notes, if you're looking for training programs, Gabe and I, we use our training programs to prepare for things like this. And it's a good example of how you could use our programs and be physically capable to do things like this. The likelihood of you not being able to keep up with your kids is basically 0, right? Like if you can go run and do these kind of things, if you follow our programs, you're going to be good to go there. I thought what was interesting is that before the race, I definitely had some like throwback moments to the 2013 Burden Run. So in the 2013 Burden Run, Hinshaw taught us this technique where like you go out in front of the group, you act like you're stretching and whatever. And then with 10 seconds before the gun starts, you just take front spot. So like because normally you line up and there's like a bunch of people that want the top spot. Instead, you just walk out in front, you pretend like you're stretching. Like no one really thinks of you as a threat. Like it's no big deal. You're just kind of like warming up. And then right before, 10 seconds, you run and you're just like, hey, it's cool. And you get right in the front. And so we worked that technique on the track multiple times leading up into the CrossFit Games, where we worked on warm up, 10 seconds. And you just walk up, you kind of like tap someone on the shoulder, like, hey, bro, it's cool. And by that time, they can't react to you because it's like 2, 1, go. And then boom, you have your inside position. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that at the Tactical Gate or at Hyrox, because like we were kind of in the back and like I didn't want to be that guy, right? Because I knew I wasn't going to be running as fast as some other people. But then we had a camera, we had Cage there, and like somehow we ended up making it to the front. And I just remember I walked by this guy, and there was quite a few people that kind of knew who we were or whatever. And I was like, hey, bro, look, I'm just trying to get in the front so we can get some good video or whatever. Like you know what I meant. Like it was just like the vibes were right, but I didn't want people to look like we were trying to be like, oh, it's cool. Like
it's especially funny because like, yeah, to your point, everyone, and honestly, like I would say that 3/4 of the people that came out super hot, we ended up beating anyway. So it wasn't like, yes, people ran faster than us, but they ran faster than us in that first lap because a lot of people came out hot. And then also we were just a lot better at the stations, that it made up for even the fact that they were better runners than us potentially. But yeah, like we weren't going to run the fastest first lap. So we didn't want to be like, hey, we're going to be in the front and then just get passed by everyone.
Right.
But to your point, like, we did want to get some good footage. So we kind of wanted to work to the front. So it was funny because it was this weird, like, and you got away with it because a lot of people know you, which is also funny on the race course. I told you this, it was funny because like we were running and a bunch of people recognized you as we were running. So we would get a lot of, you would get a lot of shout outs of like, Jason Khalipa, like, let's go, Jason. And we're doing this as a team. We're wearing exactly the same thing, but obviously people don't know me, don't know my name. So I'm like, I'm here too, like, don't worry about it. I don't need any cheering. I don't need any support.